The Dirty 30 is looking like another vehicle. There has been so much work done on it. The mechanic that Graham is, lucky I checked his work, had all the wheel nuts on backwards. So
it was a test, mate.
He sent it into a bog hole, flooded the vehicle, taken the intercooler out, and look what pops out.
It's a good sized fish.
I've never worn a sock over me snorkel.
I've seen him.
That's probably one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen.
Hold on. Hold my beer.
G'day guys and welcome to my shed, and as you can see there are two chairs here, so we do have a special guest for this one. Knowing this special guest, he's buried deep in my beer fridge at the moment. Cheers buddy.
Cheers Shauno, cheers folks.
Oh, how good, eh? Back
beer
together.
Fridge of yours is endless, mate.
I know.
It took me a bit. You can judge the calibre of man who can open his beer with one hand. Cheers mate, cheers folks.
Cheers. Beers in the shed, mate, from my shed. A nice humid hot day from Queensland.
It is. It
really
is,
mate.
And hydrate, that's the key. When it gets hot, hydrate.
It is the key. We've got a lot to get through. Quite an exciting beers in the shed as well. There's a stack of questions. Now we've just come fresh out of the Brizzy show. Now, the thing is with shows around this country is everybody has a question because we can't cover absolutely everything when we are doing our show. So you guys naturally have a lot of different questions. They usually get asked at the show, but there's a stack of guys that can't make the show.
Yeah, it can't be everywhere.
So, of course, we've got the best questions. We are going to go through those ones, mate. But
more importantly, you're missing, well, you're actually missing two cars. One I don't care about, the other one I do. Where's the Dirty 30?
The Dirty 30 isn't here, that's correct.
It's not here.
Very astute of you, mate. It's gone on a ship.
It's on a ship?
Not the Fraser Island, not the Morton Island.
Kagari? No.
No, not at all. It has gone to the US of A.
The United States of Albania.
It's of America.
Of America.
So it's gone to the USA. Very, very excited, very nervous. The vehicle's gone. The next time I'll see it is on the shores of Long Beach, California.
Ah!
The Dirty 30, can you imagine? And
so just talk me through this. So what we're going to get on a plane, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to get off a plane, get a taxi. Do they have taxis?
I guess.
Uber, whatever they've got.
And
to California.
Yep, and if the 30 starts, we'll get into that thing.
And drive in California.
And drive to California through the Moab desert. Bunch of rocks over there, apparently.
Yep,
there's a Rubicon Trail. There's so much more. We'll give you more on that later. But more importantly, what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you,
please hit me.
The amount of work that has been done on that vehicle to get it ready. We had a few little teething issues. We've always had teething issues. I've ironed a lot of those out since you've seen it last. We've got a stack of new accessories. We've modded the thing even more. It's a work of art, mate.
The number one thing though, and I think everyone at home will agree with me when I say this, have you got bloody fuel in it?
It's got, you know what, you don't run fuel in it when you take it overseas, but
of course.
This time I've actually meant to run out of fuel. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know, you'll probably notice this already. I bet there's heaps of people going, look, check out the spotties he's got on the front of the big 200 here. These are the brand new STEDI Evos. Now, if you'd like a set on your rig, and I think just about everyone in Australia, they're talking about town at the moment, everyone's talking about these. Later on in the show, if you keep watching, we'll give you the opportunity to win a set for your rig. But for now, the Dirty 30 is looking like another vehicle. There has been so much work done on it. The best way to describe it is probably show you this quick clip. Well, it's less than 24 hours now until I pack up the Dirty 30 into a container and send it across to the US of A. Now, I'm very excited about this. It's a dream come true really for me. I've always wanted to do something wild with a vehicle, and especially one like the Dirty 30. This is my favourite vehicle of all time, and to take it across to the US and wheel a bunch of tracks I've only ever read about my whole life and never actually seen with my own eyes, literally is a four-wheel driver's dream come true. But so much has changed and so much has happened to get this vehicle ready for a trip like this that I thought I'd just take 2 seconds, show you around everything, all the hard work that's been put together on this rig. And I'll tell you what, I'm smiling for one good reason, because it's absolutely amazing. Wait till you check this out. So first things first, I thought I'd take you inside the vehicle because a stack of work has actually happened that you can't really see. So the guys down at Coastline Automatic Transmission Specialists, they're just local to Nerang. Chris and the boys down there rebuilt the gearbox. Now, the automatic transmission, we just wanted to take no chances basically. That was fully rebuilt. Now get this is why I wanted to share this story with you so much, because those guys have to do a lot of tuning to get the auto working properly. So just like an engine, you need to tune that automatic transmission because it's running behind a FTE manual. So the ECU of that engine has only ever had a manual gearbox behind it. Now, of course, I've got a fancy 5-speed automatic, so they've needed to tune that with the CompuShift. Now, this is where it gets kind of technical and really, really cool. So keep in mind, this is a 60 series, right? So these guys have jumped on the phone with Wholesale Automatics down in Melbourne. Now, Jono from Wholesale has actually jumped on a computer. He's taken over the computer. They've plugged the computer into the back of the CompuShift. the guys from Coastline and Wholesale Automatics literally tuned the vehicle together, even though that the guys down at Wholesale were in Melbourne and the vehicle was getting tuned on the Gold Coast. That to me blows my mind. I think that's really, really amazing. So they've done a lot of modifications to the auto to make sure it can handle a little bit of FTE power, because we've got a little bit of extra power as well now. We've got 5-stage tune on the uni chip. So our top tune is kind of reserved a little bit, because at the end of the day, we don't want to make this thing unreliable. But I'll tell you what, at over 700 Newton meters and about 220 horsepower at the tires on 35s, this thing absolutely goes like a shower of 60 series. The first thing you'll notice about the engine bay is it's a lot tighter than it's ever been before. And one of the main reasons is we've had a full rewire. We've moved the air compressor that was here and actually rewired basically the whole vehicle, except for probably the engine harness. And that's been played with too, but a bit more on that a bit later. So the guys down at Ipswich City Auto Electrical, Rob, Ben, Cody and the boys, those guys basically went to town on this. In a week, they rewired the whole vehicle. And the cool thing is, because I always had a bit of a drama trying to find where all the fuses were, where relays were, and because we've had so many different jobs done over the life of the vehicle, new wiring looms were put in for every single project. So to give you an idea, even when I was driving the vehicle recently, to turn the rear locker on, I'd have to turn the free spool of the winch on, and to turn the front locker on, it was the rear locker switch. And there were so many different idiosyncrasies, I suppose you'd call them, on this vehicle, but now everything just works. Everything's in the right place, and if I ever need to diagnose anything, well, it's all basically here, and every switch inside does what it should do. All right, now let's talk about the FTE motor, because at the end of the day, in the US, I've been told that they have a lot of 80 series parts, so all drivetrain parts I should have. FTE motors, however, they were never sold in the US, so trying to find parts for an FTE over there is going to be really hard, so I needed to make sure that that was reliable. Now, I know a bloke who might be one of the gurus when it comes to FTEs in this country. His name is Jordan out of Only LandCruisers. I dropped the 30 up to him and he just went through it. So what he did basically is gave it a full service as you would, but he also changed the timing belt, the water pump. He changed a bunch of the plugs. I had a bunch of plugs like the map sensor, crank angle sensor plugs that were all a bit dodgy, and plus I've got spares as well. So I've got a bunch of spares like sensors and all sorts of things, belts, hoses, everything was changed. I've got spares of each. So if anything happens in the States, I should be absolutely right. The FTE is a reliable engine anyway, but it's good to have those spares just in case. And talking about servicing, of course, it wasn't just the engine, we went right through the vehicle. So we changed all the bearings. The guys down at Pinnacle basically went right through the vehicle. We used the guys at Pinnacle for all the rigs, but this one was very important because it was the last time we're going to spin a spanner on the truck before it gets in that container. So they changed all the bearings. Even though the maintenance has been up to date on this rig, we just took no chances. All bearings replaced. We changed the brakes. This is pretty cool. We put a Bendix brake upgrade in it. The same one Sooty's got, in fact. So it's got a Bendix brake upgrade kit. It's got a double diaphragm master cylinder in it. Plus it's all got new rotors and braided lines and all that sort of stuff. It stops on a dime now. Never really used to stop that well, but that's thanks to the new brake booster now. It really pulls up nicely. And the guys basically did a nut and bolt check. So they went right underneath and made sure all the suspension bolts are nice and tight. So one of the big dramas I've had with the handling characteristics of this vehicle was that the suspension was way too soft. So I took it up to the boys, Graham and the fellas over at Fulcrum, and they changed the dynamics of the vehicle amazingly. So what they've done is basically put a front sway bar in. It was missing that one. And also they've chucked a set of these in. These are the F4Rs. They're the same shocks that run on the Sooty. They're adjustable both from compression and rebound. So we can dial those shocks up a bit. And the end result is the vehicle is completely different. It has really good on-road manners, but more importantly, when it gets off-road, it's going to be nice and stable as well. That sway bar is going to help keep everything together so it's not torquing up and lifting massive wheels and feeling really unstable. This thing should be an absolute monster. Next up, I've saved the best to last. I want to show you something really cool. Just turn this on. That's right. How cool is that? Now, this was done, mind you, in about 2 days down from the guys at Bud's Customs. Buddy is, you know, he's a frother. He loves vehicles like this. They're different, they're unique, and they're built to drive hard tracks. Now, we wanted to give it that American pre-runner sort of look. So we chucked 4 STEDI Quad Pros up on the roof there, as well as a couple of STEDI little camp lights on the side. And the result is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the look of this. It's just cool. Like, did I need more light? No, I had plenty with the 2 spotties at the front, but does it look cool? Yes. Well, I reckon the end result is absolutely amazing. I mean, just take a look at it. There is so much passion in one build right there, and every single person who has worked on it, I can't thank everyone enough, because without them, tell you what, this vehicle wouldn't be going to the US of A. It wouldn't even be driving out of my own shed. So I want to say a massive big thank you. And what do you guys reckon? Let us know in the comments. Do you reckon it's scrubbed up all right? I reckon it has. Do you reckon it's going to do Australia proud in the US of A? That's a big question, because the next time you see it, it's going to be driving some of the hard tracks over in the US, and I can't wait for that. It really is a four-wheel drive dream come true. Anyway, that's enough for me. I'll see you next time.
Mate, honestly, if a rat could have a gold tooth, that is looking as flash as a rat with a gold tooth. Honest answer though, give me your honest feedback. How do you think that thing's going to go in America? They wheel some, not so much, they don't really do mud bogging and things like that, but they're technical rock climbing type.
Is out of control. I understand, and you'll notice that I kept the 35s on it. I was tempted, and a lot of you guys will know that I was talking about putting 37s.
I heard the magic 40 word at one point there.
Well, everyone kept upping the tyre size except for me. I kept it 35s because the vehicle does work on the 35s, and look, we drive some pretty wild stuff in Australia. Is the stuff in the States going to be that much tougher?
Well, look, Americans aren't that tough. So I don't...
Says the guy with no sleeves, right?
No, I think it would be remiss of you to go up 2 tyre sizes to go to America. I think you should keep it exactly as it is in Australia, and let's go and show what we can do.
I don't think the tyre size is going to hold me back. It's probably more than up behind the wheel. It's going to hold anything back.
I'll run out of talent way before the tyres will let me down. Now, speaking of overseas, mate, you've just come back, and I noticed you've had a facial done over in Japan. You've just come back from overseas.
I've been in Japan, mate. Speaking of Land Cruisers, I actually got invited to go to Toyota City. Now, this will probably surprise you and a lot of people out there that Toyota is such a big company, and it's obviously a Japanese company, that they have a whole city dedicated to Toyota in Japan. It's called Toyota City. And
be one of the most boring cities out, wouldn't it?
One of the best built cities ever made.
She's reliable. Do you get hot water out of the taps and stuff, or is it? How does it work?
I knew this was going to happen. I knew this. Big swing there. But anyway, I went over there and it was absolutely amazing. I actually got invited to the LandCruiser production line, so I could watch Land Cruisers being built. Now, this is the bit where I'd love to show you the video on this one, and cue video, go. I can't do that because when I got there, I wanted to film some stuff, maybe take some photos, but of course on a production line where new vehicles, there's a lot of technology going down, and it's the last thing you can do is take videos in there. So you'll just have to, unfortunately, hear from me, mate.
Yeah, I'm keen. Talk us through it. How does it work?
Firstly, one of the best experiences in my life. And I've done some really cool things, but this blew me away in so many ways. So firstly, I come to Toyota City and I go to, they've got 5, I'm going to call them sheds, 5 sheds where they build Toyotas, or maybe more. Maybe it's like 9 sheds. But anyway,
you're not talking it up that much, but yeah, go on.
And these sheds, they're not like my shed.
A bit bigger?
The biggest one is over 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre.
That's a fair shed. Come on.
Well, these are huge. These are huge. The LandCruiser one is actually one of the smallest facilities
is this
in
where they
Toyota
do
City.
Every Toyota?
Well, this is so cool about it because my farm truck was built in that shed.
That's sick.
The 30, well, all the different parts of the 30 were built and put in that shed at one stage. This 200 came out of that shed. The 80 series came out of the shed.
I'm starting to see a trend here, but go on, yeah.
All the Land Cruisers basically that I own have come out of that facility.
That's crazy.
Which is mind-boggling. Even my granddad's Land Cruiser came out of that one. So, you know, for me, it was just like, I nearly had a tear in my eye walking in there. And so I got to actually watch, obviously, these things aren't on the production line anymore. The old 40s aren't, but the 300 series is. And I actually watched 300s being built. About 90% of all the work on the 300 gets done via robots. Chassis get fed in, engines, transmission combos, suspension diffs, all happen so you've got a rolling chassis that comes out of one shed. That rolling chassis goes into the next shed to get a body on and all the stuff inside. So the first thing you go into is that there's sheets of metal and aluminium. Just I'm talking that many, that huge piles of sheet metal.
But really thin, right?
Extremely thin.
Yeah, really.
But not that thin. Not that thin, mate. They're still way...
Yeah, I'm not having a go.
Way thicker than the Nissan ones, obviously.
I was going to say, because if there's a Nissan factory, they'd have sheds just for the metal.
I'll tell you more about the Nissan factory later, mate. It was the airport toilets. No, look, as I started walking through, they grab bits of plate or sheet metal, take it up. They've got a big stamp die. And now the actual stamp, the die is 8 ton. And so they grab these bits of sheet metal. Oh, you want a door, do you? Bang.
Just punches it out.
There you go, door. Bonnet. Side of a car.
Crazy.
Oh, there's a lot of banging and things going on. It's very loud in there. All of a sudden, all these panels are made up, they're all going through conveyor belts and things like that. A robot will grab this one and goes, oh, that's the side of a 300. You better get the other side. Puts it together on the bottom bit.
Yep.
Little welding machine comes through, goes, da, 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 da.
Just a couple of tack welds.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I was going to lend a hand, but the guy said they didn't really need me. No. They had it sort of sorted. I don't know why.
Yep.
So all of a sudden you've got a body of a vehicle.
Yep.
Now, as you walk along, this is how fast this sort of happens. That vehicle, it starts getting built around you as you walk. Now, here's another crazy stat. At the end of the production line, once it's all done and dusted, there is a 300 series rolling off the production line every 1 minute and 57 seconds.
Okay. Every 2 minutes, let's call it. Every 2 minutes.
Driving.
So why do we wait so long in Australia for a 300 series?
So 300s, just for example, go to 186 countries.
Geez, the stats man today.
I know, I'm full of stats today. It was mind-boggling.
186 countries.
I was so excited to go in there, and I tried to pick up as much as I could. 186 countries, and Australia is actually quite a small market. Now, a lot of them are left-hand drive vehicles. For Arab Emirates, they love, and they're all petrols over there. Here's another funny stat for Toyota nerds out there. Sahara is the only country I found out.
Sahara is the only country?
I've got to slow down and just get it together.
He gets excited.
I'm very excited. So Australia is the only country that has Saharas. They have all different models, things I've never seen over there. And so in Australia, there's such a short run of Australian vehicles compared to the rest of the world. That's why if you guys are waiting 2 years for your 300 to come.
About right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though there's one popping out every 2 minutes.
Every two minutes.
And get this right, there's shifts. They have two shifts that go side by side. They start at 6 in the morning and finish at 2 in the morning, the production line. So it continues from 6 in the morning till 2 in the morning. And there's 2 shifts that run. And they just continually go. And it's a big operation, as you can imagine. But just, if you've ever worked on a car, the thing that blew me away, and like, I built Sooty here with a lot of help. A lot of help and a lot of people helping me out, and it still took about 12 months, and it was a heck of a lot of work. These cars are built
in 2 minutes.
So like just the engine and the box coming down and going on the chassis is about a 35-second ordeal.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
Like a machine, like a robot, puts it down in the exact right spot. It's lined up perfectly. The body comes down onto the thing. A guy comes in with a fancy rattle gun. He goes to torque spec. Done. There's now a body on the car with an engine and everything. And next minute, you know, these cars that never ever started before, and all of a sudden, some guy turns them on and drives it off the production line. And that's
literally drives it off.
And that's the first kilometre that gets put on a vehicle.
Is that right? So oil goes in, diesel goes in, or petrol, depending where it's going. And off it goes. Yeah, because all the tanks come in, like it must have the right amount of fuel goes into it to start it off. And actually, they've just celebrated their 10 millionth LandCruiser. So that's just the LandCruiser.
Just LandCruiser. I'm not talking about Yaris, Prius, like Corolla, all the other things.
10 million.
10 million LandCruisers.
And few of those are still on the road.
Couple are.
Did you get your phone out and show them a picture of the Dirty 30?
You know what I did? I actually did. I did.
Were they disgusted at what you've done to it?
I got these guys, and you can imagine their English isn't the best. So I'm trying to explain to them. I was trying to explain to them it's a 60 series body on an 80 series chassis, 1HD FTE. They were picking up a few little bits and pieces. I showed them a photo. The whites of their eyes, mate.
That's sick.
They were like, what? And they were, you know, I'm assuming they were praising it.
Almost the stuff of dreams.
For me, it really was. I'm still on, as you can see, Cloud 9.
Oh, that's super cute. That's
the fact that my farm truck, the Dirty 30, Sooty, all came off that exact production line at one stage. You know, those walls could talk, mate.
Well, they wouldn't say much because they're all robots. but I get what you mean. Japan, folks. Little behind the scenes for you here. What do you think? Should Shauno start doing his eyebrows like this? Because I personally, I tell you what.
That's my anime character.
That's your anime character? Well, if that popped up at 3 a.m. on a dark night, don't think there's too many of us out there to say no. That's good looking bloke he is.
Righto guys, exciting time of the show. It is deal of the month. This is the time where you can save big on some of the gear that we use. Now, if you're looking to give your rig a bit of a birthday, get a lift kit in your four-wheel drive, now's the time to listen up really closely because we've actually twisted the arm of the guys over at Fulcrum where you can save 50% off the installation of all lift kits. So jump online, use the click and fit, choose the suspension you want, get it installed by the professionals, and you'll save 50% off the installation. Now that literally means hundreds of dollars in your pocket that you can use for other mods, you know. So do that, do yourself a favor, get in though before the 31st of March. That's when the offer ends, so you don't have much time.
Not long.
Jump onto that one. All right, let me start off with this one, mate. This is Tamika Whelan.
Yeah, I think so.
Tamika Whelan. That's a pretty cool name.
Tamika Whelan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is too.
At any point, do you guys get really nervous about a track? I'd like to say no, I've never been nervous. I guess I've done it so many times. I don't get nervous anymore, never get scared, never get the wind blown up your skirt, nothing like that.
Fake news.
Fake news, I get really scared, really nervous. I still, every trip, and if I'm not getting nervous, I'm not driving hard enough stuff, even these days, you'd think I've done that many hot laps around like the Wadigans and all the rest of it. I still get that like, you can see it.
Especially if it's a committing track. If it's one where you're just going to land on your side, well, that's kind of, you don't get to. But if it's one where you can see down the bottom of the gully. If
you get something wrong, I've had my leg shake on the accelerator that bad. Remember the climbing track where I nearly
wasn't there, but
I nearly cooked it off the side of a climbing track, fell off a cliff. My leg was literally shaking so hard. So yes, I'd still get nervous without a doubt.
Crow's Nest taco. Don't eat one of them. Are there any North American vehicles you guys admire or wish were available in Australia? Yep.
We do get a lot of the US vehicles in Australia. They're quite expensive and they have to obviously get converted usually from a left-hand to a right-hand drive. So sometimes that can be...
It's a costly exercise.
It is a costly exercise and they're never quite right. Look, I've mucked around with the Rams and things like that. We are getting Tundras really soon, which I'm excited about. A lot of guys from the USA are going to laugh right now, but you guys have the Tacomas as well.
Tacoma.
It's like our Hilux, but it's just a fraction bigger and I quite froth on those. I think they're cool.
I can see you in one of those with your cap on backwards.
Yeah, they're cool, man.
Mate, one thing I would love is the Y62 in America is called an Armada.
Yep.
And their fit and finish leaves the Australian fit and finish for dead.
Really?
Apple CarPlay, for example, seems so minor. Yeah. Comes out in all the Armadas. It's why don't we get that fit and finish?
I think
we've still got the old wood veneer in there.
I think it's the whole Australian car market. I learned this when I was in Japan, mate. Australia is such a, even though it's everything to us, we think it's massive.
Universally, it's this big. Yeah,
that's true. You know, that's probably why.
There's the answer to that, mate. If you want to do the next one.
Okay, big timber FPV. Oh, shit. What's a 4x4 rare in Australia, but not in the rest of the world that you'd love to build/drive? Maybe it's just because I've just gone to Japan. I got really sentimental about Toyotas recently.
Yep.
But an FJ45V.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
I tried to go all nerdy and pretend I didn't.
No, it's a very old LandCruiser. It's one of the very original ones that came to Australia. The first time they tried to build, it's like a troopy style body.
Yep.
But only a handful ever made.
Okay.
Hard to get that aren't rusted out completely.
I'm going to go, this one's not super available in the rest of the world, but they certainly are available in the rest of the world and we can't get them here. You heard of a VW Synchro? No, hear me out.
Do I have to?
It's a low run. Think of a combi van that's just taken heaps of steroids.
Actually, that's pretty cool.
It's on 33s, low range, locked, bed in the back.
Here's another thing I saw in Japan. You just reminded me.
Go.
It's a short wheelbase 76.
You can get short wheelbase GUs.
I thought they were a bit of a myth. I didn't.
Unicorn.
I saw one and I was like, "Where's the other door?"
Yep. No.
That's again for the rest of the world, not for us. Imagine a short wheelbase if they still have the V8 power plant in it. Short wheelbase 76.
Can you imagine that get up and go. Righto, Jonty Son. Could you take 3 guys and myself in sooty to my wedding in July?
Okay. First thing, Jonty, can I come to the Bucks party? Next question is no, because I can't take 3 blokes in soot. So he's only got. Yeah, well, if I'm driving, I've only got one more. You can get your mates to sit in the back, so we've done that before.
We've done that before. Put them on the roof rack and maybe.
You know, here's one. I'm sure you get asked all the time.
Yep.
On a weekly basis, I'd get asked to take people to their formals, their proms, their dev balls, their weddings.
Okay, one more. I've been asked if I could do my what's that thing where you become the wedding dude?
A celebrant.
If I could just get my celebrant license so I could marry people.
Sure thing.
I reckon I do a pretty good job.
I got it, yeah.
Crack a beer, right? Kiss her. Yep, you're married.
You know what? If this gig doesn't work out for me, you might start using some of these as formal cars.
I reckon you'd be good. That'd be fine.
I could take people to their formal. Imagine that if you broke down and we had a whole story. You never made your formal, but we had a hell of an adventure.
Gee whiz, we changed that CV quickly. No Limit Togi. Some strange names out there, but I like them. Farm truck and G60 through the Simpson, big question mark.
The answer is yes. I think we should take him to the... We've talked about this. We've threatened each other with a good time.
Mate, I think it's got to happen.
I think it does. The farm truck, I'll need to spin some spanners on it. We actually... Something you guys didn't get to see just before we started filming here. We had my hoisters right where the camera is right now, and I had the farm truck on the hoist because I was changing the brakes over, and I thought, heck, we better roll this thing off the hoist so we can start filming. So Graham, just chuck on one wheel, I'll chuck the other one on, mate. And the mechanic that Graham is, lucky I checked his work, had all the wheel nuts on backwards. So
it was a test, mate. I was just making sure you
trying to sabotage the farm truck before it's even left.
It was a test, mate. just to make sure he knew what was going on. He passed with flying colours.
Do you guys have wives/families? How do they feel about you spending so much?
I think that's the only reason we do.
Well, I've only got one wife, not wives. You know, I'd love to, but...
Have more than one?
Yeah.
No way.
No, it's way too hard. It'd be way too hard. Yes, we both have wives.
Yep.
So the key is, I think, if we were with our wives for any more than about 6 months of the year, they'd probably leave us and we wouldn't have wives anymore. So it's probably the perfect balance.
It is. I reckon it's a healthy marriage. No, don't stay there.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh.
Go away as much as possible.
Yeah, you like the welcome stranger in the house every now and again.
I love a welcome stranger. Marky Yeats. Why is the team all breaking up and doing different stuff now?
We're expanding. We're trying to bring you guys more content is the name of the game. Not everyone loves the hardcore wheeling. Some people like even harder core wheeling, if that's such a thing.
There is such a thing because Jock and Jesse do it.
That's right. And some people like more of the laid back stuff, which is Graham to a T.
Yep.
And some of you guys, well, actually not enough of you guys like fishing stuff, so that's why we don't have a fishing show. Just comment below if you want to see a bit more of that. But I guess we're changing the face of Forward 24/7. Forward driving means a lot of things to different people.
I guess, it's not just one thing. It's got so many broad, interests behind it that why not try and develop them all?
Yeah, so just more shows. And will Graham be on the main Forward Drive show?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Try and kick me off. Keep them going, mate. We've got mobs to go here.
Okay, we've got Teflon John.
Where do you guys get these names?
He's not sticky. He never sweats, that bloke. When did the two of you first meet, and did you have a clue that your career/friendship would go so far? I'll stop you right there. It hasn't gone that far.
No.
Young Teflon John.
Sometimes it's gone bloody close, so Teflon. I'll tell you.
Maybe we'll talk about how we first met, Graham.
How we met?
We're obviously a bit younger.
Yeah.
We're sporting better rigs at that stage.
Yeah, well.
Tough truck competition.
It was tough
circa
truck.
about 2008. Some of you guys weren't even born then.
Whoa!
There's one dog running out hot.
Nearly killed the cameraman.
She's busy. She's got things to do.
Yeah, Tough Truck 2008, thereabouts.
Exactly right. So
we were,
I was on a journalistic assignment.
Yes, he was.
Young photographer in the making.
I was taking photos of the trucks going up and
down
down
photos.
hills.
I was writing notes on a notepad. That's before computers, mate.
Yep, exactly. Way before.
I was in there. Our eyes met across a dusty mud pit.
It's true, actually. Yeah, we had a couple of tins that night, and the rest was history.
So they say. And we've actually just been mates ever since.
That's how it goes. Anyway, we'll see what happens tonight. Zach B3024. There's obviously a lot of Zach_Bs.
Yeah.
There's 3,023 of them have been taken. Why don't you guys run big power in your rigs other than the reasons of fuel, braking stuff? Zach, I'll take you for running my Y62 one day, mate.
And Zach, they're two pretty good reasons, like using too much fuel and braking the everything.
Yep.
I think that's two good reasons why I don't go excessive power. But, here, I'll put it out to you guys. When have you seen someone with a big power truck drive impressive things?
They always look impressive.
I'm talking about comp trucks and things with big blown LSs and stuff. I'm talking about a regular patrol or cruiser that's making huge power. Show me someone that drives some hard tracks, because the other day I had the 1HZ in Old Soot, and it was the most gutless thing I've ever seen. But in low range, guess what? That 1HZ did everything.
Perfect.
My high horsepower 1HDT, and that vehicle's making 250 horsepower at the wheels, 35. It's no slouch.
Yep.
But the 1HZ's probably making about 60. Did the exact same things off road.
So true. It is so true.
I don't. Big power, as long as you can keep up with traffic, that's enough power for me, I reckon.
I agree. Big power's not the everything. It really isn't. Who can win an arm wrestle out of Shauno and Graham? I know Graham's got those guns.
Maybe we should do it right now.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No, there's no need.
I think we leave that one in the ether for people to think about.
Exactly right. We're wearing way too many clothes to have a wrestle right now anyway.
100%. So. I'm not sweaty enough. The humidity needs to rise a lot more before I'm going to do that. But if you want to come back to this previous question about big power and you don't really need it, I think that answers it all.
You like the 180Z?
I am.
Or the HDT.
Hey.
You should see the big blown.
We'll leave that one right there, folks, at home.
What about let's move straight along. Matthew, who's the moodiest in the mornings?
Jock.
Got to be Jocko, Shaun.
Without a doubt. Jock in the morning.
Jocko. Not just sometimes the morning can creep into the evening. He can be a moody little character.
Yeah, he needs a coffee in the morning, old Jocko. But once he's got a coffee in him, he starts the weird
He's
stuff.
also the funniest and the most loving character of everyone you've ever met in your life.
Without a doubt.
Let me go. The next one here.
Ooh, we're getting all serious.
Oh, what kind of medical kit do you guys carry on your drives/4 drive trips?
Yep.
We do actually take safety quite serious.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit.
It might surprise you. And here's a little tip for you guys playing at home. The general first aid kits normally aren't suited to forward driving, so you need to sort of up the ante, modify your first aid kit just like your forward drive.
Yep.
Chuck in things like your Stingos, Panadol, good for a big night and just a normal headache. Also, snake bandages, make sure you got heaps of that sort of jazz. Sun cream, all the stuff that in the Australian elements you're likely to face.
100%.
Jazz your kit right up.
Yep. If you go to the doctor for anything, you might have a sore stomach or something, use that time at the doctor and let them know that you do go bush. This is what I do once a year or so. And they'll give you some stuff you can't get behind the counter. For example, I've got some pretty hardcore antibiotics, just in case one of us comes down with something.
You actually have the biggest selection of off-counter drugs I've ever seen. In fact,
you never know.
You prescribed a couple of me around the campsite a few times.
And didn't they help you out?
They really did. They really did, folks. And the other thing we'll carry, now this might shock you as well, a defib. Now, I'm not suggesting everyone carries a defib.
Where the hell's that? Yeah, where is it?
It's in the camera car.
Is there really?
We've got a defib in there. Yeah. We've got some older characters in the crew.
I'm a bit smoky in the morning, folks. Takes me motor a bit to get going.
You just never know when they're going to fall off the perch. So we carry the defib, and that's how serious I guess we take our safety when we're out in the scrub.
I never want you to use that on me.
I can't wait. I
reckon you're for a joke.
The only reason we got that, I thought the jumper leads were enough.
On my nipples, that hurts.
But we actually got a proper defib.
Okay.
We carry 2 sat phones. I know that's not medical, but it helps get medical assistance should you come in trouble.
We've got EpiPens.
EpiPens as well.
We've got those.
Yep. So yeah, we take it pretty serious.
Yep, that's the bottom line there. Riley's 105. I hope you do have a 105, Riley. I have a 105 series LandCruiser. What is your opinion on? Well, I'll hand this over to you, Mr. Toyota. What is your opinions on turboing the 1HZ?
Yep, I reckon the old 1HZ, standard internal, is probably good for about 70 PSI. Really feed the boost upper, and to get that fuel screw and just toss it in the garden.
Don't need it.
Do not need it. Don't do that. You'll blow it up in about 2 minutes. The key is with the 1HZ is keep that thing low, under. If you can keep it around that sort of 10 to 12 PSI, you won't have any dramas. They can handle a small turbo. And because you're running such low boost, don't be fooled into thinking you need an intercooler as well. You don't, because they're running such low boost. But make sure your 1HZ is nice and healthy before you go and strap a big hairdryer to it.
Fair call. Yep, she's an older model.
And if you're really wanting power, then consider probably doing an engine swap, because 1HZs are good for medium power and nothing more.
Y62.
And look, there's going to be a stack of guys out there who have built 1HZs making 400 horsepower.
Yep.
You can, but that requires internals and all sorts of jazz. That's a whole nother game.
Buy a Y62 and stop mucking around with your dirty diesels.
You don't want to get places, mate. Troy A. Howard.
Or Troy A. Howard.
Troy A. Howard.
Or Troy A. Howard.
Is there any benefit in using a snorkel sock?
I'm taking it he means on his snorkel.
And if so, in what circumstances would you use it?
Yes, I'm going to answer this one. Yes, I would use a snorkel snock. A snorkel snock? What kind of beers are these?
Wish I could get another one.
Holy heck. A snorkel sock. 2 instances. The first, if you're running a forward-facing snorkel. You're not on that one.
No.
You are on that one over there. And it's dusty. Yes, 100%. Pop one on there. Take it off when you get back on the road, because they just really restrict any airflow backing in. If you have a rear-facing snorkel, I have found you do not need to worry about much at all. Your air filter stays so much cleaner. If you're in the back of a convoy on a dirty, dusty track, this is a weird thing, and we've talked about this before.
Yep.
Why do people have to sit so close behind you on dusty tracks? Everyone does it. Just space right out. Get out of the dust. Going to answer it real quickly, though. Yes, I think there is a benefit off-road.
I've never worn a sock over my snorkel.
I've seen him.
And I refuse to. Because
they don't make them small enough.
It's really hot here in Queensland at the moment.
It is, actually.
I'm sweating a bit. But I've never actually worn one over my snorkel, and I refuse to. Because I've never had a drama. I carry a couple of spare air filters, and I sit out of the dust as much as I can.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the dust. Dust is disgusting stuff, so yeah, try and keep out of the dust. Jet Warburton, good strong name. He obviously comes from this part of the country. Will you ever come to the southwest of Australia?
I don't think it's even aimed at me. You might be surprised that this bloke actually lives in the southwest of WA. You probably never heard it in one of our shows.
Represent 6282.
Yeah, righto, mate. Look, I would love to go there, but I've just heard on the days it isn't snowing, it's raining. So,
disgusting over there.
For me, I'd rather sit in this humid place that I call Queensland and just sink tin.
It's lovely here, I've got to say. It's really lovely. I'd love to have you over, mate.
I'd love to come over, to be honest with you.
Get in my little boat and we'll go and get some squid.
We've always had this. It's almost romantic in a way. I'd fly over, you'd come and pick me up from the airport, get us in the front seat of Shorty. You can take one of your other fleet of vehicles.
That'd be good.
I want to catch a Marin.
Yep.
I want to drink an Emu Export and stare at the ocean on the southwest corner of WA.
Damn, you want to sound like a local. Scary.
I know.
You just don't look like one. Leroy. Where to next on off-grid? We've just come back from a trip. I'm not going to go into it, but I will give you a little hint. Where we just went for the last off-grid that I literally just flew in from today is the most underrated four-wheel drive destination I've been to in Australia.
Wowzers. It's in South Australia.
In South Australia? Yeah. It is, but where in South Australia?
Oh, I don't know.
And that surprises me to say that. South Australia, and where we went, one of the most underrated four-wheel drive destinations I've ever been.
Surely if it's that good, was there heaps of crowds?
No.
Really?
We had camps for 7, 9 nights. We didn't see a soul.
Really?
Yep. And we did a ridgeline, low-range, four-wheel drive track. I've never done anything like it anywhere in Australia. And some of the corners that you had to take on this thing scared the living pants off me.
Yeah, righto.
It was unbelievable.
That's quite exciting, mate.
Yeah. That was awesome. It was awesome.
Good thing is you can look forward to that one on the YouTubes.
Coming up.
Exactly right, mate. Well, I'm dangerously empty. We're just about to jump into the new segment. I'm going to go to the fridge. Let's get into some dodgy advice.
I can help you with that. Dodgy advice. Where's Shauno? We're going to need you for this one, mate. Thanks, buddy.
Got some good advice for you, mate.
What's that?
Don't worry about it. Can't say that on there.
I can't. I'm going to use my T-shirt.
Oh, no. That arm wrestle game.
Do you want me to do it?
You can always test the authenticity of a man by the way he opens a stubby. Unfortunately, that wasn't my brightest moment. It wasn't. Anyway.
Dodgy advice, mate.
Dodgy advice. Aaron's got, I'll go this one. He's got a Cruiser here. So he's got a bit of good taste already. He's got an old Cruiser. He's pulling down to give a bit of a refurb. Nothing at all is Toyota about it. So does he keep the 4-poster or get rid of it? I'm going to say get rid of it.
I'm going to go the other way, Aaron. I think it looks authentic. I'm going to say keep it.
It does. It matches the fence. If one of the fence palings fall down, you'll be able to use that as a gate or part of the fence.
Look, what are you going to replace it with? Something modern? Well, that's not going to work.
I just like the basic old styles on those old girls. Look, you know what? You know what?
The more you look at it, the more it grows on you.
You know what?
Like a mould.
It kind of works.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all.
I'm saying keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it, Aaron.
You know what? Spend your money on getting the thing going and reliable and keep that bull bar on.
What are your thoughts on the Chinese utes like the LDV and GW? Excuse me, folks at home. They'll go everywhere the D-Max will go with the same mods.
Robert, I'm going to disagree with you, big fella.
Ooh, Rob. Sorry, bud.
Look, I think they will, but for how long? There's the question. But look, they are okay. I'm not having a go at the Chinese ute market.
I need to see longevity first. I need to see one being driven in 20 years.
I've driven one. And look, it's something you get used to. Look, I've driven an old 60 series with leaf springs with no caster wedges in it. The thing was jumping across lanes. I drove it. I thought that was normal back in the day because that's all I knew. I tell you what, there's a bigger world out there.
Yeah, it's bright. It's dangerous. I'm going to say the same, mate. I need to see these things on the road for a long time.
It's just one of the things. The problem. Look, there's nothing wrong with the vehicle so much, but there's not a lot of support for them.
That's the big thing.
You're not going to be getting a huge range of bull bars. You're going to go, yeah, there's an Ironman bar out. Yeah, there's one bar. Are you going to get lockers for them? Are you going to be able to get all these other things? Chances are no. So you're limited into what you can do. And the build quality, frankly, isn't quite there. But you know what? In 10, 15 years' time, we all had to go at Korean vehicles. Look at Hyundais and Kias now.
100%
they're leading the charge. Back in the day, all the old guys will remember this one, when Mazda came to Australia, which was in the 70s or so, everyone thought Japanese vehicles, they'll never make it in Australia.
Look at that.
And some will say they still haven't, but I will say they have. Toyota, Mazdas, all those sort of Japanese vehicles.
That's just a matter of time. Like I say, I just need to see a bit of time on those vehicles first. Mark Manson, he's related to Marilyn. Hey boys, I'm in two minds to fit a snorkel or not. 99% of my four-wheel drive is sandy beaches with the occasional water crossings to get to one spot. Best is knee deep. Total snorkel. He's quite a lot going on in that question. Should he put a snorkel on?
I think you should always have a snorkel with a vehicle.
It's not going to do anything negative.
Exactly right. And at the price of a snorkel, it just takes that one water crossing you're and ahhing about and you decide to go for it and you really should have got the snorkel fitted. You dust your whole engine, it's completely cactus.
Yep.
That snorkel's worth every cent.
Not to mention too, snorkels do lower your intake air temperature. I'm able to monitor mine in the Y62 and having now put a snorkel on mine, I've noticed my intake air temperature come down by about 5 to 8 degrees.
Actually?
Doesn't sound like much, but it's quite a big deal. I was picking up air from inside the front guard. You can imagine how hot that is.
True.
Now I'm picking it up from up above the roof. Beautiful, cool, crisp, clean air coming in. Any vehicle loves cold air.
Yep.
The colder the air, the better.
Yep.
So there's a reason alone that I think a snorkel is worthwhile.
Putting lithium batteries under the bonnet, what's your thoughts on it? He needs to lose some extra weight. And look at that rig. It does have a bit of weight. It's a gorgeous looking rig. It's got lots of stuff going on. He wants to lose some weight. It's going to be the next logical step. But of course, you're going to see high temperatures under the bonnet. So I'm guessing he's talking about the second battery.
Yep, I reckon that's what he's talking about.
So second battery, the answer is yes. I would run a lithium under the bonnet. There are lithium batteries that can handle a bit of heat out there. And of course, whether it's Red Arc or what you choose, Red Arc obviously do make very small battery chargers that fit in perfectly into little places you don't even use. And of course, you're going to save weight. There's a huge weight saving with lithiums.
Lithium have come a long way. They really have. And you know what? Lithium are almost becoming old tech now. with zinc coming out and a few other bits and pieces. We're going to see this market change. At the moment, though, you can get lithiums in all weird sizes and shapes. Long, short, flat, thin, to fit just about anywhere you want. And don't be fooled into thinking you need a massive amp hour battery either. If you're only going overnight, for example, you can get away with, shivers, you can get away with a 50.
Yeah,
you really
I was going to say, look, 100. If you got 100 amp hours of lithium,
because you can use every amp of that.
Exactly right. Both Sooty and the Dirty 30 run 100 amp hours of lithium as their dual batteries. And I sometimes run 2 fridges at a time. I might be charging batteries as well. All the sort of jazz. I'm driving a fair bit as well, but I mean that's all I need.
I got 240 in the Y62
of lithium.
Of lithium. And it's a bit...
Must be nice.
It's a bit OTT.
Yeah.
But the other day it was hot and I ran my air conditioner in the caravan off my inverter and my lithium and it was lovely.
Must be nice.
Getting old. Getting old. So, mate,
We've got that defib, boys.
Yep, get yourself a lithium, you won't look back. Alex van Rensburg.
Yep. I guess what? He's from South Africa.
He's from South Africa. How's it? He even says how's it?
Yeah, Squire.
Mate, he's done a suspension lift and stiffer custom springs with the old girl being permanent 4-wheel drive. Am I able to add rear and front lockers, or is the front questionable due to it being permanent 4-wheel drive? Well, it depends what front and rear lockers you're putting in there. If you're putting in electronic or air, of course you can.
Yeah, exactly right. So I guess the answer to that one is if you've got a full drive, a constant full drive vehicle, so it's always in full drive, you'd want a locker that you can manually turn on or off or engage. So if you can get an air activated one or an electric one, that's probably the go. A full-time locker in an all-wheel drive vehicle, it's a bit of a handful.
Oh yeah, you don't want that.
I'd stay away from that.
But yeah, magic buttons we call them, and that for a reason. Mate, I reckon we might do this again.
I think
solid advice out there.
It's been extremely popular, and I bet a bunch of you guys watching have got questions of your own. So why don't you chuck them in the comments below? We'll do our best to even go through those. And we might even put you on a show. But one thing we will do is I've got a set of spotties to give away. These are the STEDI Evos, the brand new ones. Now, what's so cool about these? Just if I can quickly show you, check these. These come off. They're little covers. Now, these are actually different. So one's actually a spot, and one is a flood beam. So the combination of both of those on the road is nothing short of deadly. You can see as far as you ever want to off-road, and you've got the peripheral as well. So I'm going to actually give away a flood and a spot, so you've got the exact same setup as I do, plus a wiring harness.
You'll need that.
We're talking about a fair bit of value worth of unbelievable lot.
415 each?
Something like that, plus the wiring harness as well. So you're talking about, it's a fair old prize here. And for the best question in the comments below is going to win a set. And I'm going to go through and actually choose somebody. So if you've got a question on, maybe you're doing a build, you need some advice on that, you might have a question about a place you want to visit. Who knows? Any question you've got about our show or about four-wheel driving in general, in the comments below. It might even be, you might be a young bloke. What is the first mod I should do in my Suzuki Sierra? It might be like, what's the first car I don't know. I'm not going to put anything in your mind. Your best question?
Trying to get a girlfriend, do I buy a Nissan or a Toyota? Well, we don't need to answer that, do we? We'll move on to the next section. From your shed.
Love this bit. This is where we get to go into your
uninvited
shed. Exactly right. See the rigs that you're displaying. There's also fails. I love seeing those.
Love the odd fail, mate. So we got prizes?
Of course we do, mate. Let's jump in and the most deserved.
Deserved.
We'll get a prize.
You can tell he's been travelling, can't you?
Very cultured these days.
Spotto!
Speaking of cultured, look at this rig. This guy's not.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Daryl's better looking, brother. I'm going to have to agree.
That's a neat GQ.
The airbrush is done perfect on it.
And look at the panels on that thing.
It's got a couple of stallions on the side.
A couple of stallions inside too, I'd say. Look at that. Oh my goodness, tinted windows.
He's got the slightly more expensive tint on his one too.
Really nice. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be getting rid of that in a hurry. Mate, have a go at this. This is Jack's. He's 10 years old and he's building better cars than you.
Out of Lego, my
Out of Lego.
And they are phenomenal too. I love this. You know, we're humbled so many times when we come to shows. You'll see a kid will bring a Lego car in, and these days the Lego builds are getting pretty wild.
I mean, it won't be long before there'll be someone in there driving them. They're that fancy.
You've got the Dirty 30 and the D-Max. You can actually see easily that that's the D-Max, that's the 30 there. They're both
sick.
It's actually better in Lego than real life, to be honest.
The D-Max has outdriven the Dirty 30 once again because it's at the top of the hill.
It's bogged, mate. It's bogged.
Good on you, Jax.
Yeah, how good's that? Now, here's this for a fail. Now, love a good fail. Doesn't get much more than this. He's sent it into a bog hole, flooded the vehicle, and check this out. He's obviously trying to get the water out of everything. So he's taken the intercooler out, and look what pops out.
It's a good sized fish.
It's not bad.
It's a Gambusia.
Not bad.
Look at it.
It's a little barra.
Yeah, you fill it that, need it. Goodness gracious. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but it looks like a hat trick. All three trucks bogged to the chassis. Your rescue vehicle comes in to get you. He gets bogged. Someone comes in to rescue the rescue vehicle. and it gets bogged, it's right about there, mate. You get out and walk to the pub.
You just go, that's when you throw your hat on the ground and go away.
Well, you take a photo first, you hashtag it, forward 24/7 fails.
Might even win a prize.
You might even win a prize, but
that's,
yeah.
You rescue vehicle.
Some pretty big trucks getting bogged there too.
Yeah, that's a real shame. I've been in situations like that. It gets pretty messy pretty quick.
What on earth is that?
That's an abomination. Matt Pullen on Facebook. I noticed you got rid of the worst part, so...
You got rid of the best part, but anyway.
We got rid of the old forklift motor, chucked it in a forklift.
He's got a gas bottle there, so that's... Yeah.
It's on gas.
Well, good on you, Matt. That's a heck of a thing.
That really is, mate. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen.
Hold on. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Oh, that's not true. Come on.
Spotto by Marcus. It's pretty disgusting. That is a 6-wheel drive LandCruiser, but they've kept the flares on and...
How do you even do that?
I've seen body chops before where you take a wagon, make it a ute. Sometimes you get away with it, looks quite nice. I've never seen a wagon extension.
It's an odd thing, isn't it? It's different. I don't quite know how that's been done.
You know what? I don't mind it.
I wonder, here we go. Here, if that is not a lazy 6th or a lazy second axle, would you still rate it? If that's a driven second axle? I don't think it is.
Let's just say I don't have room in my shed for one of them.
Okay. All right, here's how things go wrong quickly.
Oh my goodness. Everyone watching this at home are probably full drive enthusiasts. They're realising that is not the way to recover a bogged vehicle on the sand. Even if it is a little Mazda or whatever that thing that is bogged. They're attaching the snap strap to the boot latch.
No, don't. And I think, if you look really closely, I think he's put it around the toe ball as well. No, don't do that.
Look, yeah, stop. That's so much of a fail. I'm not even going to entertain that one. That is, guys,
just don't do it.
With recovery, there's no jokes. Don't even.
No.
Wow.
Speaking of,
Joel, we've got a mate called Joel.
He could have done that.
he's done some pretty wild things where he's ended up on his side, but not like this one. Joel on TikTok he's obviously been bogged in the sand. He's got some max tracks under there and all that sort of jazz. He's given it a big old yank, and look what's happened. She's gone on.
Zigged when he should have zagged.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, that one. He's rolled the vehicle into the surf. There's not many worse situations you could find yourself in.
There's not. From 0 to 0 right there. Joel, hope you managed to dust the sand out of that one, mate, and keep on driving, but something tells me that's going to Papua New Guinea as a backup vehicle.
I reckon that'll be the next artificial reef. Send me the GPS marks of that one, mate.
Oh yeah, Mangrove Jacks.
All right.
Mate, we've got to pick a winner.
It's going to be tough. What about the young bloke that got a fish in his intercooler?
100%.
I've seen fish inside of my vehicles before.
How does it get in the intercooler?
It's gone down the snorkel somehow. I don't know, but you've won a prize. I'm going to give you a $200 snatch gift voucher. So get in touch with us.
You don't need to buy fishing gear, that's for sure, because you're doing it well.
Exactly right, mate. Exactly right.
Righto, mate. What do you reckon? We have a look at a few rigs. Always a fan.
Good idea. Start with Nick's Hilux, mate. This thing.
Tough wheeling.
Jocko would just be...
Nah, too much weight. Jocko's not happy with this. Right now, he's arguing. He wouldn't have that much weight on top.
Sure, but at the end of the day, I reckon this is rad because you could look. It's probably got like 38s or something crazy on it, and it's got a full-blown camper on the back.
Who's sleeping up there? How many people are sleeping up there?
Well, you can have a party in there. That's so cool about it.
Oh, no, I get it. I reckon you walk in from the back. He'll have a kitchen set up there. He does, and that's the bed up the top there.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
The proper full in the US. This is a very popular setup. They have these they call them. Tray bed canopies, and they go inside like a full tub. You don't take the tub off, they sit inside the tub and they have this full-blown canopy going.
Yeah, Roger.
So,
comfy, looks it.
Oh, insane. Yeah. Because over there, this is the crazy thing about vehicles from overseas is the extreme cold we never think about.
Yeah, right.
They have diesel heaters and all sorts of jazz, and they like to get away out of the elements because it's snowing outside half the time.
Yep.
So,
not here. Let me just give you the tip. Yeah. Today on the Goldie.
She's
holy heck!
On Gold Coast hinterland is she's steamy.
Steamy!
Get a couple of good looking roosters side by side, drinking a couple of beers in a shed, and I'll tell you what, about 10 degrees warmer than it should be.
I'm surprised there's not moisture dripping off the 200. Anyway, there will be later. Wes from Black Hills Builds with his tri-linked, three-linked 96 FZJ80.
Big FZ. That's a gorgeous 80. Let me just get that straight. That is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, again, another overseas vehicle. They're big on the old gas vehicle, the petrol vehicles overseas.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's classic. It's just, yeah, and it's got the nice headlights on it. It's a later model 82.
It's got the nice headlights.
Yeah, they are. Have you seen Source headlights recently? They're full of mud. They're gorgeous. They're
clean. It's a nice looking truck.
It's got the Sahara sort of style headlights on it.
Hats off to you, mate.
Yeah,
you've done a good job.
I want to know more about this 3-link.
Yeah, what's going on there? How does that work?
I've heard of 4 links, but 3-link?
Well, he's cutting corners, isn't he?
Well,
couldn't afford the other one.
I guess so. I guess so.
Now, this guy, I reckon, here's the thing. I reckon if this guy was to get into camp late, he wouldn't just idle into camp and set up quietly.
This guy's never idled in his life.
Doesn't idle.
No.
He's on and off the, whoop, 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 everywhere he goes. Yep.
Got a big turbo on the side as well. Barra turbo in a shorty.
Now, be honest with me.
Yeah.
You'd like to drive that in the sand dunes, wouldn't you?
I'd like to drive it full stop. Yep. You know what? I'd own that. I'd own that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
I'd never own a shorty Nissan, obviously. I'd try and go a longer race.
Way too much car for a man like you. But to put a barrier in that thing, that would be off tap. That really would. That'd do wheelies.
Could you imagine?
It'd be unbelievable.
Could you imagine?
Holy jeepers! Look at that.
Check this out. This is cool. I love seeing vehicles like this.
Nothing Triton's a Triton.
Well, this is a cool Triton too. They've done a lot of modifications on the thing. And this bloke, Joshua, he's very passionate.
Well, you'd say so. What do you think about his side steps? Rock sliders.
They're fantastic. I mean, you got yourself a full table. If you sat down under that, you could rest a plate on it.
Oh, but hang on. No. He's got little kids and family with health issues, and so they need to be able to get into the car easily.
Oh, righto.
So they're actually built to a purpose. I now take my hat off to you.
It's in the UK, I guess.
It is, yep.
And lots of mud bogging and stuff over there. Never really rains much in the UK.
They don't get a lot of rain over there, no. Hence the
but look at it, it's cool.
It's actually tough. It actually looks tough.
It is.
I like it.
Now, it doesn't have a bull bar on it. I'm guessing you're probably not allowed to have bull bars.
Not allowed of kangaroos over there.
Not as well as kangaroos.
No, they've only got
We've got
one.
some aggressive badgers and that's about the size of it.
Tell you what, I've seen the odd aggressive.
So have I, mate. Holy heck.
Shake that one off, mate. Rigs, we've got to give a winner. We have to give a winner to the rigs.
The Barra Shorty.
Oh!
Barra Shorty has got to win the prize. That's cool. It's really cool.
It's neat.
I like it. I like
Rooftop
it.
tent.
It's just you know what I like about it? I call that saving a classic, even if it is a Nissan. You've got an old vehicle that usually just rusts away. You've put everything, your heart and soul into restoring a piece of history, bringing it back on the road and giving it a new lease on life.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a lease with a Barra turbo in it.
That's crazy.
You win the prize, mate. $200 snatch gift voucher coming your way. Deck yourself out, mate.
Fully sick.
You'd be surprised on how empty I am.
I need to put the hose on my head.
It's so super hot. I'm thinking what we might do, mate. What? Is you saw the dartboard up there. So
that's right. It's
right near the beer fridge.
Coincidentally, it's right near the beer fridge.
Right near the beer fridge. That might be us, folks. We might wrap it up right here. But thank you so much for joining us for another Beers in the Shed. And do yourself a favour, jump on. You're obviously watching this right now on YouTube, but we of course have TikTok, we have Instagram and Facebook.
We are multifaceted.
Exactly right. So jump in the conversation and make sure you tag us, because if you want to win a prize and jump on the show, the best way to do that is to use, if you got a really cool rig, 4WD Drive 24/7 rigs with the old hashtag at the front, or hashtag 4WD Drive 24/7 fails if you've failed.
Now, just to get a little bit of fuel, get a bit of petrol or diesel in the tank and get you fired up for what's coming up, because we have got one hell of a year coming up and we haven't even started yet.
I know, it's exciting.
We haven't even started yet.
It's exciting.
I've just finished an off-grid across the Nullarbor. That sounds so boring. Trust me when I say you've never seen anything like this. We went way north off the Nullarbor, 100 kilometres north, and found a cave system you've got to see.
Yeah, righto.
Unbelievable cave system out there. Yep. You had a crazy pub crawl in New South Wales?
Well, how's this, right? So we're in New South Wales doing tough tracks with Jocko. So Jocko picked all the tracks, I picked all the pubs.
Oh, that sounds right, yeah.
Do you imagine what sort of show that'll be? Yeah, you'll have to see it because it's just a proper adventure.
Speaking of tough, Jock and Jesse are back at it. Those two, competitive.
Oh,
there's one word that you could say, the competitive.
I'd love to think that you and we're not very competitive when it comes to forward driving. If we make it,
good on you.
If we don't, we've got a winch for that.
Yeah, so what? We'll still be at the pub at the end of the day. But those two pushed themselves to the absolute limit. So you can look forward to that coming up, folks. I too am getting very empty on this one right here. We've had a big weekend, busy four-wheel drive show. Beers in the Shed. It's good to be back on the East Coast, mate.
Yeah, cheers,
I'm here for
bud.
a week, actually.
Well,
I'm here for a full week.
Tell you what, take you about that to get out of this shed, I reckon.
I reckon it will. Cheers, folks.
Cheers, folks.
You'll buy, actually. It's your shed, so.